So my first question would be this: where was this allegedly essential, non-transferable Roman primacy? Remember, Roman primacy in Acts 15.
In Acts 15? Well, in Acts
Yes.
15, this is before the Roman primacy was established because St. Peter had not died in Rome. When
Okay.
St. Peter died with St. Paul in Rome, that's where he left the primacy.
Okay.
And like I quoted St. John
Hold
Chrysostom at
up,
the
hold up,
beginning.
hold up, hold up,
Yep,
hold up.
yep.
So the primacy at least some time was not Roman.
That's right.
Okay. And that would mean that it was transferred to Rome, correct?
After St. Peter left it there, that's right.
Okay. Okay, so we've established, the both of us, that the Roman primacy was not always there from the very beginning, and that it is in fact transferable. Um,
It,
hold on, let me pick another question
yeah,
out of my
that's right.
little box of joy here. Um, this is just a little funner one. Can you explain to me in your own words what a circular argument is?
Circular argument is one where the conclusion is included in the premise, essentially.
Okay,
The premises
so
that
for
support the conclusion are essentially what the conclusion are. It's circular.
right, so for example, if I were to say, we know the Roman primacy was always there, even though we just established that it wasn't. But if I were to say we know the Roman primacy was always there because the popes say it was always there. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly your argument, but arguments that lean in that direction. Would you say that they're intrinsically circular?
Well, I wouldn't say this is circular because we can establish, like from foundational epistemology, that we can trust what the popes say based upon the texts of the New Testament and the early church fathers and the general apostolic tradition that was handed on to the apostles themselves. So, no, I don't think it's circular.
So, to be clear, Roman primacy was always there because popes say it was always there is not circular.
No, not necessarily. If you can establish that the popes are to be trusted as a reliable source in the matter, then it's not circular. You can have a foundation from the New Testament to the church fathers to the popes themselves describing this primacy. And further, when we have ecumenical councils, which, as I've said, affirm that the teachings of the popes were always correct, we know for certain that their teachings regarding the
Well,
primacy
we
are
can talk about ecumenical.
scriptural.
Well, we can talk about ecumenical
Yeah,
councils. I'm going to get into that in my next rebuttal. So, okay, next question here. How about I don't know. What do we got? Oh, so previously you had suggested the blackout, and I posted the citation or screenshot for this into the chat, along with, by the way, the exact timestamp to the Father Richard Price video. I wanted to clear that up for everyone in the room listening. It was stated that I never provided a citation for what I said about Father Richard Price, but it's right there in the chat. You can click it, and I'm pretty sure that's going
yeah,
to
I've
take you
seen it.
right to the timestamp. So, but anyway, previously you suggested the blackout, that full power was so strong in the beginning that Pope Linus could have actually excommunicated the Apostle John. Do you still hold to that position?
Yes, and I would also say that an ecumenical council
Okay.
could have excommunicated the
No, that's
apostles
okay.
as well. Yeah.
Well, sure, but okay. So yes. Okay. Um. Right. So, well, here's the thing. Right in your resolution, it says very clearly, very plainly, for all to read. It says that no Roman primacy, no church. Okay. And then my first question, right in my very first question, you admitted to me that the Roman primacy was not always there. You said, and you also admitted that it was transferred when in other cases you explicitly deny with, the veracity that it could be transferred. So, if your resolution is correct and no Roman primacy actually means no church, then did we not have a church in the years immediately following Pentecost, since you already admitted there was no Roman primacy there and that it was transferred later?
No, because what I said there and what really everyone would understand that to mean is simply that after the Roman primacy was established at the death of St. Peter, it is an essential characteristic of the church. That's my argument. I'm not saying that Rome was supreme before it even became Christian at all. Like that would be ridiculous. I'm not claiming that.
Okay, but water, you would agree that water is essential for a baby, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and so then if a baby doesn't have something essential like water or her mother's milk or air, the baby, it's not just like the baby can kind of get by, but the baby's going to die, right?
Sure.
All right. So
Well,
perhaps there's just a little bit of disagreement as to what essential actually means, but that's fine. We can deal with that.
well, I think an
This next
example
question,
with the
this
baby.
not, it's okay,
Okay,
it's okay.
that's right.
This next question is multi-part, so try to hang on till the end. Uh, so, all right. In a conversation with Valen on January 20th of this year, you said, quote, Chalcedon read a heretical document and did not condemn it. It was just subject matter in the discussion, end quote.
Yep.
Valen then turned around and asked you. He said, quote, does the council, does the council's not condemning it imply that they accepted it? And you said, what, I'm sorry, that's what Valen asked. So end quote. You said, quote, I don't think so. End quote. Okay. Um, the Sixth Ecumenical Council did not condemn Agatho's remarks about this alleged infallibility of the Roman See that persists forever. They did not condemn that. So, to be consistent, would you likewise admit that their failure to condemn it not entail that they accepted it?
No, not at all, because there's a big difference with Agatho's letter. It's in the official Acts of the Council. It was read aloud in Hebrew, or sorry, not Hebrew, Latin and Greek to all of the participants. And the council responded to Pope Agatho and said, Peter has spoken through Agatho, and we accept this letter as, quote, divinely written by the Apostle Peter. So they accepted it as
Sure,
written by
sure,
St.
sure,
Peter
sure.
himself.
No, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with the content of the letter.
but
So your answer to the question then is just that I guess.
it's not the same thing.
So we have.
That's the answer.
It's not the same thing. Okay. So, and what's the differentiating principle there?
With the letter of Ibas and Chalcedon, it was not even in the official Acts of the Council. You can't find it in there today. And it wasn't like an actual matter of discussion. It was something they briefly passed over. Whereas with Agatho, he was giving the teaching that the council accepted, and they said that his letter, they accepted the letter, and they said that it was written by Saint Peter the Apostle. That's completely
Okay.
different.
So let me ask you this. Here's a similar scenario then. Okay. So now
Okay.
we do have in the official acts and sessions of the Third Ecumenical Council at Ephesus, in his epistle to Nestorius, Saint Cyril calls Nestorius, quote, the most religious and beloved of God, end quote. That's part of the official letter. That's part of the council. In the same way that Agatho's letter is part of the council. Saint Cyril's letter is part of the council. Agatho's letter is part of the council. So now, did Saint Cyril actually think in your mind, did Saint Cyril actually think Nestorius was the most religious and beloved of God?
No, I
Yes or
don't think
no,
so.
followed by an explanation.
No, but I actually think I'd have to see the letter you're referring to. I think this letter was written to Nestorius before he would be considered a heretic. I think the letters of Cyril were written, most of them anyways, were written before the council actually came. And even if they weren't, so what? It's just a title. They're just referring to him with a nice title because that's the way that they did things back then. They were very
In other
Byzantine.
words, they were using, I guess, what people could call flowery language.
Yes, from Nestorius, that's
Beautiful,
true.
beautiful, beautiful. And also, in other words, not every single line in every single letter in every single act and session of a council is necessarily a historical fact, correct?
No, Second Council of Nicaea quotes forgeries. So that's I agree with you,
Okay,
sure.
and so then we would presumably agree that the real meat of the ecumenical councils are those parts of letters and statements from the church fathers that are relevant to the dogmatic issues or
Yeah.
disciplinary issues that are being discussed at the council, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Generally.
Okay, cool.